Yeah, he probably could have overpowered him. No, but he saw that he couldn't. No, but he probably could have. But he saw that he couldn't. Yeah, but he probably could have. But he saw that he couldn't. Who wrote this? Who wrote this? Who wrote this? Hello, all you beautiful people. Welcome to Joel Reads Bible. I'm Joel, and I'm reading the Bible so you don't have to. And if you're here on episode 31, you probably know the deal by now. This is Genesis chapter 32. We have Jacob, who had a bit of a kerfuffle with his father-in-law last episode. And this episode, I believe he's heading back to his native land, which they're claiming is Canaan. Even though everybody ahead of him, like his dad and his dad's dad, Abraham and Isaac, respectively, or is it Isaac and Abraham, respectively? I don't know. I don't know how the English language works. His patriarchs, of course, they've claimed that they're aliens in this land, and God is like, well, I'll give it to you, but now all of a sudden it's Jacob's native land. Let's get into it, but before we do, because sometimes people don't make it to the end of the video, if you haven't subscribed, please do that, and like this video, and ring the bell. You want to get notified, and you want to watch the whole chapter. There's no reason to really watch a bunch of little short snippets when you can watch this whole thing and see the whole thing. The whole point of this project is to read the Bible in context. Subscribe so you can join in on that, and leave a comment to let me know your thoughts and join the conversation. So here we are now, Genesis chapter 32. Jacob also went on his way, and the angels of God met him. I love that there's angels. There's the angel of God, and then there's visions of God. There's all the stuff that is associated with the God that is God. And then there's these angels of God. And Jacob has seen the angels of God one time before, and they were ascending and descending a ladder. When Jacob saw them, he said, "This is the camp of God." So he named that place Mahanaim. I really hope that these names have some sort of meaning. I mean, I guess all it is like, this is the camp of God, and so I'm naming it that, and now this word represents camp of God. Like, I think that that's how it works. We don't know any of that, and we're just taking it at face value. Jacob sent messengers ahead of him to his brother Esau. In the land of Seir, the country of Edom. He instructed them, "This is what you are to say to my master Esau. Your servant Jacob says, I have been staying with Laban and have remained there till now, 20 years. I have cattle and donkeys, sheep and goats, men servants, slaves, maidservants, slaves. Now I am sending this message to my Lord, that I may find favor in your eyes." If you guys don't remember, Jacob screwed Esau out of his birthright and then out of his blessing. And of course, Esau, he wasn't so happy. And I think he said he was going to kill Jacob or something like that. He's like, if I ever see that guy again, why I oughta. And Jacob did say that. He goes, we'll let him cool off. He's not an idiot. He knows it's going to take a couple of decades, because you're not cooling off from being completely screwed over by your little brother, with the help of your mom, by the way. Just because you married some Canaanite women, it's not going to be like, oh, a couple months and I'll feel good. No, it's going to take 20 years. When the messengers returned to Jacob, they said, "We went to your brother Esau, and now he is coming to meet you, and 400 men are with him." Uh-oh, spaghetti-o. Which, by the way, where did Esau get all those men? I mean, we know Jacob's filthy rich. Way back in the day, Abraham had an army. It was an army of 318 men. And then Isaac, he only got more rich. Or richer, or more richer. He became the most richest. And this family just goes from strength to strength, ultimately. So now Jacob, who would be the one that would get all the riches, he's even gotten more rich through stealing Laban's streaked and spotted goats or whatever. But now Esau has 400 men. So just imagine what Jacob must have, because I'm pretty sure he's rich. He should be anyway, if logic stands, which it's the Bible, so don't count on it. In great fear and distress, Jacob divided the people who were with him into 2 groups, and the flocks and herds and camels as well. He thought, if Esau comes and attacks one group, the group that is left may escape. Smart. He's wily and conniving, so he's always thinking of a scheme. Then Jacob prayed, "O God of my father Abraham." When he prays, he puts on the accent again. "O God of my father Abraham, God of my father Isaac, O Lord, who said to me, 'Go back to your country and your relatives, and I will make you prosper.' I am unworthy of all the kindness and faithfulness you have shown your servant, and I had only my staff when I crossed this Jordan. But now I have 2 groups. Save me, I pray, from the hand of my brother Esau, for I am afraid he will come and attack me, and also the mothers with their children. But you have said, I will surely make you prosper and make your descendants like the sand of the sea, which cannot be counted." So Jacob is saying, look, I got pretty rich with Laban. 20 years, 14 of those he worked just for one person a pop, but okay. He accumulated a lot of people. He got some slaves and stuff through Rachel and Leah, who became moms to his kids and stuff like that. I don't know when he's going to start getting all of Isaac's stuff and that household, but I'm pretty sure he will soon. And Jacob here is kind of challenging God. He's saying, look, God, you've promised all these descendants, so you kill off my fam and me, and it's going to make you look like an idiot. We don't know that he's going to come in hot, by the way. This could be one of those, and great writing if it is, one of those things where he's coming, oh no, he's come with 400 men, and it's like, oh, he's going to destroy us. And then he comes and goes, put her here. We're friends. And I want to give you half of these men or something like that. These 400 men are yours. There could be, it's one of those tricksy things that happens in a narrative. He spent the night there, and from what he had with him, he selected a gift for his brother Esau. 200 female goats and 20 male goats. Even when it's goats, you can see the difference in value. 200 ewes and 20 rams. 30 female camels and their young, 40 cows, and 10 bulls, and 20 female donkeys, and 10 male donkeys. He put them in the care of his servants, each herd by itself, and said to the servants, "Go ahead of me, and keep some space between the herds." So if he guns down the camels, then it'll take some time before he guns down the donkeys. And then he'll take some time before he guns down all the rams. And by that time, we can be away. He instructed the one in the lead, "When my brother Esau meets you and asks, 'To whom do you belong, and where are you going, and who owns all these animals in front of you?' then you are to say, They belong to your..." This is the servant now. "They belong to your servant Jacob. They are a gift sent to my lord Esau, and he is coming behind us." Jacob, he's made a lot of children, so he's come behind a lot of people. He also instructed the second, the third, and all the others who followed the herds, "You are to say the same thing to Esau when you meet him. And be sure to say, 'Your servant Jacob is coming behind us.' For he thought," and this is tricky, "I will pacify him with these gifts I am sending on ahead. Later, when I see him, perhaps he will receive me. I'm going to buy him off. No, I did something horrible, but I'm going to buy him off, and maybe if I pacify him with presents, he won't chop my head off immediately." So Jacob's gifts went on ahead of him, but he himself spent the night in the camp. That night Jacob got up and took his 2 wives, his 2 maidservants, and his 11 sons, and crossed the ford of the Jabbok. Jabbok, it's a fun word. After he had sent them across the stream, he sent over all his possessions. So Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him till daybreak. And a man wrestled with him till daybreak. When the man saw that he could not overpower him, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip, so that his hip was wrenched as he wrestled with the man. Then the man said, "Let me go, for it is daybreak." What does wrestled mean? This is a nighttime. Jacob's all by himself. Some strange man shows up, and they wrestle all night long, like all night long. They sort of roll around. In the Sodom and Gomorrah story, those men were wanting the angels, which they thought were just guys, to come out so they could overpower them and dominate them in such a way. Is that what's happening here? Did someone show up to dominate in some horrible way Jacob? And they wrestled, and this other man couldn't dominate. He couldn't win. He couldn't overpower Jacob, but what he could do was touch his hip and make his hip wrenched. So there is a magical power going on. Let's see who it is. But Jacob replied, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." The man asked him, "What is your name?" So this guy doesn't even know his name. "Jacob," he answered. Then the man said, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel." This would be in the trailer for the book, right? Because this is the story. This is the point. Your name will no longer be Jacob. It will be Israel. And that's when Israel was born. Because you have struggled with God and with men and have overcome. Jacob said, "Please tell me your name." But he replied, "Why do you ask my name?" "Well, because you asked me my name, so why wouldn't I?" "Well, why? I thought we were just asking each other's names." Then he blessed him there. The man blessed him, I guess. So Jacob called the place Peniel, saying, "It is because I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared." Jacob saw God face to face. I wonder if that's fine. He saw God face to face, and nothing happened. He got a bad hip out of it. But he saw God face to face, and he didn't even die. Fantastic storytelling, because I thought that was just a guy that he was kind of fooling around with in an aggressive sort of sodomy sort of way, but it wasn't. It was actually God the whole time. Jacob has now struggled with God and with men. I don't know how much struggling Jacob's done. I know there's been some tricking and one wrestling match, but Jacob's actually stronger than God. God cannot overpower Jacob. And it's not that he chose not to. When the man, who is actually God, saw that he could not overpower him. This is where the Bible gets very confusing very fast. And I know that people will jump in the comments and have some sort of stupid, half-assed answer. I got to tell you, that's what it would be. Because what are you going to say to excuse that Jacob was stronger than God, who's all-powerful, and saw him face to face and didn't die, when we both know that later in the text, it's going to tell us that no one can do that. But then at the same time, the man who is actually God can just touch his hip and really screw it up. So yeah, he probably could have overpowered him. No, but he saw that he couldn't. No, but he probably could have. But he saw that he couldn't. Yeah, but he probably could have. But he saw that he couldn't. Who wrote this? Who wrote this? Who wrote this in such a way that it just doesn't make sense? Like, I think, you know what? Honestly, part of me thinks that it was just people. Part of me thinks that just like normal, everyday, ancient, mortal men wrote this as a bit of a folk tale involving a made-up supernatural being. The sun rose above him, and he passed Peniel, and he was limping because of the hip. Therefore, to this day, the Israelites do not eat the tendon attached to the socket of the hip, because the socket of Jacob's hip was touched near the tendon. So this was one of the big stories Jacob wrestles with God. I'm sorry, but I don't really see that much significance, and I bet there's some symbolism here people could enlighten me on. So far, Jacob seems to just be a scamp who's going around pulling tricks and getting tricks pulled on him. He's waiting to be in a big battle with his brother, who he screwed over because his brother married Canaanite women and they are racist. And I just want to put all that. This is the context you guys want, okay? And so now Jacob's wrestled with God. God wasn't able to overpower him. So definitely true. And now he's got a bum hip that he's got to fight Esau with a bum hip. Is that going to work? Is that going to be fine? I'm worried about him. But that's chapter 32. So we'll be back next time with chapter 33. Please subscribe, ring the bell, like this video, leave a comment. That's all I could ever ask from you. And guess what? You're never going to believe it. We'll see you next time. Au revoir.